Welcome to the Choose on Purpose podcast. I'm Becky Ploutz, your host, and I'm joined today for our conversation co-host, Samantha, who is going to introduce herself in just a minute. And I wanted to just share a little bit about her also as she dives in herself and just I love Samantha's approach to talking about skin and her passion. And that's why she's here today, is just really to give us more of her story and to share more of the moments that have helped her get to where she is today. So, Samantha, I want to welcome you to the podcast. Thank you for joining us. Tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're located. Let's dive in.
Thank you, Becky. I'm really excited to be here today. So I'm in a suburb of Chicago, so a couple hours from you. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a licensed esthetician. I've been an esthetician for over 20 years. And I've kind of dabbled in all areas of aesthetics. Like I started in a medical spa, worked in a day spa. 14 years ago, I opened up my own treatment room because I had kids and I didn't like the hours. I was working nights, weekends, and when you have little ones, that's really difficult. So I started my business and started working, like I would take a client during a nap and then at night when they went to bed. So that's kind of how I built my business. And
Wow.
I kind of fell into the holistic side of skincare because I struggled with adult acne, which I was blessed as a teenager and never had bad skin. But then after going off birth control to start a family, I was suddenly dealt with acne. And,
Mm.
I went to school, I learned how to treat acne. And the crazy thing was nothing I was doing was working. So when I got pregnant, my skin was clear and I was like, oh, great, it's hormonal, no big deal. And then after my third was born, I had a lot of issues like weight gain and all that stuff. And my skin was really bad. So I did like a 14-day cleanse and cleaned out my gut, and shockingly, my skin cleared up. So I started realizing that our skin is a reflection of our internal wellness. So
Mhm.
that's kind of been my philosophy over the last like 14 years.
Okay, couple
Yeah,
things. One,
I know.
if you are watching this on the video, you can see like when she says she's been doing it for 20 years, I'm like, "Psh, are you lying?"
I know, right?
And three kids.
I
So,
started when I was 10. So,
right.
you know.
I mean, that could be accurate. I
Yeah.
know that you and I have had a side conversation about tweens and this big hit of, trending with skincare and so it could be true, right? You
Yeah,
could have been
that's true.
starting at the age
That's
of
true.
10 because I
Yeah.
really believe that that's the generation that we're in right now. That
Right.
could fully be the tweens starting on a trajectory of what they're passionate about is very possible. So just
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
honestly, like can't believe you've been doing it for 20
I
years.
know.
Super
I,
excited to have your wisdom and
yeah.
your knowledge to share with us on the podcast today. And the other thing that I love about what you're talking about is bringing the awareness that how much important gut health is
Yeah.
to skin to so many things, but like
Right.
that connection piece where you say you talked about you went on a cleanse for 14 days, cleaned up your gut, and that made all of the difference. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
What?
I know. It's like everything I was taught in school, nothing was working. It's like, what? I was like, what am I doing wrong? You feel like you're trying to help clients and you're like, how can I help this client if I can't even help my own skin? So I remember having that like internal, like, lack of confidence because I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
doing everything by the book, everything I was trained to do, and nothing is clearing it up. So it's just, and even now, like, that's why we're seeing so many people with acne because our diets are horrible and we have
Right.
access to more processed food than ever.
Yeah. Okay, so let's dive in because I feel like there's
Yeah.
going to be a journey that we're going to go on right now talking
Okay.
about our green light moments, our rest stops, and our detours. So when you hear, like, we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and kind of like the
Okay.
in between and ugly kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
when you think about your journey and right, the green light moments are that it was really in alignment. You totally knew that this is where you were going to go. And it felt right to you and you went on this journey. Like, what is that for you? Tell us about that.
I mean, I've always just been somebody that followed my heart. Like if something doesn't feel right, I just can't keep doing it. So
Mm,
like with the whole like holistic aspect of it, it's like I wrote a book because I wanted to give people that information. I created this skincare line because I want to give kids something like good for them. It's like I'm always
mm,
trying to learn and better myself and just give, wherever I can. So I just feel like I get bored easily. So, I just feel like I've kind of always just evolved with my company. So
I love that. Where's the next good thing that I can, bring out into the world
yeah,
when you get bored? What's the next good thing that
right.
you
I
can
know.
bring
Well,
out?
I briefly mentioned it that I'm kind of looking into bringing in a medical director so I can do a little bit more advanced treatments because I just feel like, and I said
Yeah.
this earlier, there's that fine line between doing more holistic and kind of going into the medical field without damaging the skin. So,
Right. I love that you bring the perspective of without damaging, what's there and moving forward with like a solution more than, something that's going to actually do more damage before it's good or whatever they want to say. I
right.
think that's a whole nother beautiful perspective that you have that I can really appreciate with I mean with anything, but I love that you do that with where you're going in your industry and the work that you are bringing to tweens and women in general, just really getting that awareness is, I think, super cool. So when you say like it's something that you've always done, so with your acne, you said that that was one of the ways that you really started looking into it for yourself is, you had this problem for yourself and then you were
Right.
solving your own problem
Mhm.
and figuring it out. So what about like a rest stop? Now the rest stops, I clarify them as, when you're driving down the road and you need a potty break, you need a snack break, you need to stretch
Mhm.
your legs, and it's intentional, right? When we pull off to go to a rest stop, we're gathering ourselves, we're
Right.
reconvening what we need to do in order to continue on this journey. So, where would you say, a rest stop is in your journey in your story with where you're at now?
Yeah. I would say right now I'm in that rest stop because
Are you?
I'm trying to bring in some more advanced treatments because I'm 45. And so I'm at that point where I want to keep looking as young as I can. So I'm like researching and trying to figure out what can I do that's not going to be super crazy harsh. And so as I'm starting to bring some of this in, the current clientele are giving me a little pushback. And so I just feel like now it's time to pivot, bring in some new clientele,
Mm.
some fresh faces. And, like I said, I get bored easily. So I'm kind of like, I've been doing very similar things for the last 14 years. And I just feel like I want to grow a little bit more. So I feel like right now I'm kind of in that like shift where I'm being pushed into pivoting my company. So
Mm. I love that because, right, we still have the passion and the drive for, what we want to do and our ideal clients, right? They shift because we're shifting.
right.
You're growing your knowledge, your expertise, your awareness around your industry and what's really needed right now. And it makes sense, right? That we have these rest stops, these resting moments in our life work that, let's make sure that we're in alignment with where we're going and make sure that it still feels as good as it did when we first had that desire to really support people with our work. I think that's huge. And I love that what I hear you saying, with this pivot and what's happening for you is you're looking for more ways to collaborate with people in your industry that can
Yep.
help like the whole industry get
Right.
stronger and build a stronger clientele because you'll have more solutions to offer them to support what they need.
Right. Yeah.
I love
Exactly. Thank you.
um do you currently have for your business, do you currently have other people that work with you?
I have two estheticians. Yeah. They're both part-time, but yes. My
Yeah.
goal is to get out of the room, like full time and kind of have them step in. So again, that's also a little shift that I'm trying to, clients are pushing back because they've been with me for so long. And it's like,
Mm.
okay, I'm trying to step back so I can work on the tween line and grow the company. And it's like, you can't do all that when you're working on clients all day. So
Yeah, it's almost like you're in that dance of like
yep.
helping your current clients feel secure with you, trusting that you're training and bringing
Right.
people in that are, as good or, all of those things that
Mhm.
they feel safe with you.
Right.
And that is probably very important. I mean,
Mhm.
in working with people's skin, that
Yeah,
they really do probably need to trust you, right? Like,
absolutely. Yeah.
hmm.
Yeah. And I always tell my clients, I'm like, I'm actually trying to make my estheticians better than me.
Yeah.
That way they shine, because I'm the one training them. So I
Right.
want them to be a reflection of me.
Mm. Yeah, that's nice. How long have you had like what's your like loyal client? Like how long have they been coming to you for skincare? Do you know that off the top of your head
Yeah.
or what would you
I have
guess?
I have several that have been with me since like day one.
Yeah, since she was
Yeah.
10.
I know, right? Exactly. Yes, they've seen me grow and they're still here 14 years later. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's amazing. I think that that speaks such volume too on our journey when we take a minute to reflect on like our own growth as
Yeah.
business owners, as female leaders, that we're doing what we need and then we're also sharing it with other people. And I think looking at that growth point is so important to really let it take root. How much even taking one step forward to take a pause and figure it out, to
Yeah.
know that
Mhm.
you are still in the right direction and that you don't need to change your total route. It's just maybe there is detours. So let's talk about a detour in your story. Where
Okay.
would you say a detour is? Because, right, when you think about driving on the road,
Yeah.
you have your GPS set to exactly where you want to go.
Mhm.
And now the path has changed. It
Yeah.
wasn't planned, but it generally is on purpose. There's a reason. So tell us a little bit about that for your journey.
I mean, I'm like, I don't know where to begin. I feel like I've had so many detours. And even now, bringing in this tween line, I thought,
Yeah.
and all the girls that love it, but it's funny because, I go on TikTok, I make all these videos and it's not getting views. But then I put my daughter up there and it gets like hundreds of views. So I'm like, okay. So learning how to market to kids
Mm,
has been it's very eye-opening and it's a huge learning curve. And I feel like right now I'm struggling with that piece because I sometimes I sit there and I stare at my phone and I'm like, I don't even know what to do today. I don't even know what kind of content. Like I have a content list and I know
mm,
what kind of content to make. I just don't always know how to make it. So I feel like right now that's like been a huge like pivot and detour for me. Like, you know, um, because I want this brand to grow and I want to be able to impact these girls, but I feel like I need to get the message right in order to make that impact.
yeah. I think that what I hear too is, trusting that we can do it messy, you
Mhm.
know, do it without
Right.
knowing the exact way to do it.
Hmm.
And this is maybe something that I've just acquired, right, over and practiced over the last years of being an entrepreneur and figuring things out, but really trusting that even when it's, it doesn't get good views or the numbers don't show and all those things, like we're trained to kind of look at those
Right.
and to just really go back in and say, okay, that was a learning opportunity to
Hmm.
see what's performing well and whatnot. And I just thought of an idea too that I think is, I don't know, maybe you've done this, Samantha, is have you and your daughter done videos together?
We did one so far. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that, and I also know that your background is that you're a massage therapist, correct?
Esthetician.
Esthetician,
Yeah.
esthetician. And so when you started doing your esthetician,
Hmm.
that was, um, you said 14 years?
My business, 14 years. Yeah.
Your business 14 years. So when you started that, did you know that you were gonna like build out a team and have more, or when you started,
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that because
Yeah.
I think that that's another thing that I hear a lot about from leaders and business owners and entrepreneurs is like what you're doing. You
Yeah.
started yourself and then it grew. And I think that sometimes what holds people back is that they're like, oh, I don't have a big vision. And it doesn't always start with like, oh, I had this idea. So tell
Mhm.
us about your story. Like,
Yeah.
did that start there or?
I didn't have a big vision when I started. I do
Yeah.
now, but back then, I mean, my oldest he was 2. And like I said, I was trying to work when he was a baby and I stopped working. So I was a stay-at-home mom at the time. And I just didn't have that fulfillment because I'm like, I'm somebody I have to be doing something all the time. I can't sit still. So I was kind of bored being home with the kids all day. So it's like I needed an outlet. And so my ex-husband built a room for me in the basement of our house. And so like when my oldest would take a nap, I would be able to take one client. And then when he went to bed, I'd be able to take clients. And then, on the weekends I would take clients. So it just kind of started there. But I was also super involved at the time. Like I worked out at, a gym in the neighborhood, and I partnered with a chiropractor.
Mm.
I donated to the preschool and the elementary school. So I did all kinds of stuff like that to help kind of grow my business then. But it was just kind of like, hey, I'm the facial girl. Like that's kind of, but it was nice because when they were little and then when they were babies, I got to be home and kind of have that experience and that time with them. So even now, like 14 years later, like my work schedule is built around my kids' schedule. My youngest does competitive cheerleading. So we're gone a lot. Like she has practice, she has competitions, we travel. So,
Mm.
my schedule revolves around them. So
It's such a great testament of a female leader that is really juggling it all, right?
yeah, yeah,
Figuring it out, but also making sure that your priorities are um lined up in your schedule. I think that that's huge when you say, my work is around my family.
right.
And that just shows like your priority to be their mom and to be able to also, put your passion there,
Mhm.
but making sure that it's organized enough to know
Yeah,
which one comes first for you. I think that's huge. That's a big thing that
yeah,
I always am like grateful for the reminder to be
yeah.
around other women that feel like I'm doing this, I have
Mhm.
this passion. Like, how do you do it all the time? And it's like, that's a huge part. So, is there anything else that you would say to the other women listening that have that juggling act happening that might support them in their journey?
Yeah, I mean, I don't I get up super early because I feel like I need that time for me to kind of get my day started, have that hot cup of coffee and just kind of have like my me time because I'm a
Hmm.
single mom. I have three very active and busy kids. So, I'm trying to grow my company. I just feel like I have a lot of moving parts. So it's like if I don't have that time in the morning, the rest of my day feels like chaos. So I feel like even if it's 10 minutes a day, when they were little, I would start out with like 10 minutes a day, but I feel like moms just need that time where they can carve out for themselves.
I love that you say even 10 minutes at a time.
Right.
This is a big part. I mean, I know that you've been experiencing a little bit of this inside of the Work on Purpose with Purpose community and co-work space because we do things with 10 minutes at a time at the front and the
Right.
end. And before we had that community, I didn't realize how much can get done in 10 minutes. And the focus, is so important in the intention of what we go and do and in the energy in which we're going to do it is
Right.
so important. So when you say I get up early and I fill myself up, I'm focused on my me time, like that's so important. And I want to just highlight it again for those listening to say that that will, right, fill your cup that you can more easily go into your day with a clear head of how you can serve and from a full cup versus an empty cup.
Hmm.
And I think that I'm also curious, Samantha, what is early? Because everyone has a different definition
Yeah.
of I wake up early. Some people that's 8 a.m., some people that's 4 a.m. So walk us through a little bit of your routine if you're open to that.
Yeah. So it's 4:30 a.m. I am an early riser. My oldest is in high school and he starts early, so he's up by 5:30. So it's like I need that.
Yeah.
I get up, I journal, I read for like 10 minutes. I try to get some of my admin work done just so I can get some stuff off my plate because when I'm with clients, I can't be in front of my computer. I can't be on the phone. So it's like I check emails. Like I feel like that's my time to get the work done that needs to get done. So
Yeah, more of that stationary kind of work that it's like I have a place to be to get it done.
mhm,
Outside of that, I think is super important. And I love that you mentioned journaling.
mhm,
I think that again, making sure that we have that time to pause and take note of what's working for us in our daily life or a business or whatever's on your mind.
right.
And I'm not sure, do you do like free flow kind of journaling, or do you use like prompts or?
I do free flow. I just kind of write what's on my brain. I just
Mm,
feel like sometimes getting it off your chest, it's just so powerful.
yeah, love that.
Mhm.
Um, okay, and then thinking about your green light moments,
Mhm.
and your rest stops and your detours, has your journey always been around being an esthetician, or have you had any like nudges to, go in a different direction of any kind? I'm curious.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like the skincare line is kind of a different direction for me just because, I know how to market to my clients. I know how to get clients in the door. I know how to do facials. Like this is a whole new ball game because it's e-com and it's like I had to learn how to build an e-com site and, learn
Yeah.
websites. So it's like I'm learning all these different elements that I never knew I never knew about. So yeah, I feel like it's just a whole new ball game for me. Um,
Yeah. Okay, so
yeah,
tell us about your skincare line. So this is built for tweens.
it is. Yep. Yeah.
And you also said you have a book. Is that
Mhm.
something different? Tell us about the book. I know you mentioned that earlier, and I meant to ask you more about your book. You mentioned you have a book.
Yeah, so it's about the skin. It just talks about like how to take care of the skin.
Okay.
It also has a lot of like health and wellness, like nutrition, gut health, and then different products and ingredients in there.
Awesome. And what is the title of your book?
It's called Skin Deep.
Skin
It's the same
Deep.
as my company. Mhm.
Well, if that's not a lesson either,
I,
ladies,
here,
like
I have a copy right here.
there you go.
Yeah,
Hey, you always have to have your book next to you. I think
right.
that's a great lesson in itself. Like,
Mhm.
love it. Okay, and then so your book, when did you release your book?
In 2017, so it's been out
Okay.
for a while. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I love this. So where can the viewers go and grab your book?
They can find it on my website.
Okay, and then what's your website?
It's skindeepil.com.
Okay, awesome. And that'll be in the show notes too for easy access, but
Okay.
always good to hear you say it in case
Yeah.
someone's just listening, they're like running. So that's really good. And then okay, so then let's get into your skincare line a
Yeah.
little bit. Tell us more about that.
So I was actually trying to create a skincare line for my company and I got I've been working with a chemist. She sent me some samples and my daughter was sitting next to me and she's like, oh, skincare. And she got all excited. And I'm looking at her going, what do you know about skincare? You're 10. And so then, she started telling me about what she's been learning on TikTok and what her friends are using. And um, so I started asking her some questions and got some information and found out that her friends are using like retinol and glycolic and peel pads and resurfacing and all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, why are they using this? And she's like, we've been watching all these influencers. And so then she opens up TikTok and I'm like, my jaw's like on the floor watching like these girls do like 16 steps and put all these stuff. And she's like, now my skin's sensitive. And I'm looking at her going, why does a 10-year-old have sensitive skin?
Hmm.
So I kind of pivoted at that moment, contacted my chemist, and I said, I feel like there's a need here. I need to create something for these kids because what they're using on their skin is damaging them. And she's like, these products are safe for kids. She's like, you can definitely, formulate it and, package it and stuff for them. So yeah, I went down that rabbit hole and one of my really good clients is a graphic designer. So her and I had a lot of fun kind of creating the brand and kind of getting, bringing this to life. So it's very simple. Right now, it's just a cleanser and a moisturizer because really that's all they need at that age. I'm going to be bringing on some masks, some facial oils because, and then some acne products because it's for tweens and teens. So obviously acne is an issue at that age. So I'll be bringing in some other products, within the next few months.
Oh, I love the story, like knowing how, again, it's a personal journey
Yeah,
that obviously your daughter was, giving you this awareness, and then you're knowing to be like, okay, wait, this is a big sign. There is
yeah,
something that we can really, impact this big area that is going very wrong right now
yeah,
and misleading and can be very damaging for their future, but also like it's right in your house too. So
yeah.
like that understanding how we're listening, right? And paying
Mhm.
attention and then knowing that we can change the direction of where our path is taking us when it is out of alignment, right? When it is known now that what
Mhm.
you know now, because what we knew yesterday is not the same as to what we know today. So the
Exactly.
fact that you felt strong enough and had the courage to totally pivot that, it's like hats off to you. Like that's
Yeah.
super
Thank you.
amazing to hear the story of how you got into doing the tweens. It was like
Mhm.
this pivot that just needed to
Right.
happen and you felt that so strongly because it
Yeah.
doesn't sound like it was something you were like wavering on and going back and forth on. It was like
Right.
sounds very concrete. Would
Hmm.
you agree?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was like one of those things. It was in my heart. The minute she said it, I'm like, I have to do
Mm,
something about it. Like I just felt this like strong urge to like stand up and kind of make an impact on these kids. Because I feel like with my esthetician background, I can educate them. I can help them. I
yeah,
can help the moms. There's just it's not just about the skincare product. It's about creating that education and helping make a positive impact.
I love that. So tell us a little bit about that. How are you educating and empowering women and now tweens with
Yeah.
your products?
So I'm trying to, that's another thing I'm working on. I'm trying to get into like mom groups and, network with different business groups. I want to get into some girl groups like Girl Scouts. My daughter does cheer. So I want to talk to all the girls that cheer and even sports teams. Just come in and just kind of educate them
Mhm.
about what they're learning, what they're doing to their skin, and what they can do to establish a good, healthy routine.
Okay, cool. And so are you doing anything currently or do you have plans to do like workshops online or are you
Yeah,
going local?
I want to do it all.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm starting with podcasts too. I've been pitching
Yep.
some podcasts, like especially a lot of mom podcasts, because I feel like moms need that education too, because they're just taking them to Sephora and buying whatever whatever the kids want. So I feel like the moms need education too.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to see more about like a mother-daughter dynamic. That's why I brought up the
Yeah,
video
yeah.
of like you and your mother or you and your daughter
Hmm.
being like doing the videos together because I too have a 10-year-old right now.
Yeah.
She's about to turn 11
Hmm.
and I was on an overnight field trip with her class that is exactly what my experience was. And I know that I shared this with you, Samantha, when we first met.
Yeah.
So I was like, holy Toledo, we're meeting for a reason. I'm in this right now with you. Like,
Yep.
and meeting someone that can do something about it is so empowering to know, like, I'm also on a path of being able to help, my daughter in the future of that
Right.
because I was in shock these
I know.
girls whipping out their skincare lines at this
Mhm.
overnight. And I was like, what is happening right now? Like they had better skincare regimens than I did.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah. And most moms actually say that. Like almost every mom I talk to, they're
Yeah.
like, my kid has more skincare products than I do. I'm like, that is a problem. It should not be that way. So
Yeah.
yeah, we need
Yeah.
to do
So
something about it.
yeah, I love that you're taking the action to do that. I love
Yeah.
the inspiration of, being able to help that generation really get some education around it versus just influencers saying that they need this product to, have a status of some kind.
Right.
And I think that's super important. So, where can we all follow along with your journey as you're unfolding with the tween line
Mhm.
and bringing more out? Where can they do that? Where's your website again?
Yeah. So my website for the skincare line is Zozo skin.com. And then I'm on TikTok mostly at zozo.skin.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, go find her on TikTok, find those videos.
Yes.
And make sure that you go check out the skincare line on Zozo Skin.
Hmm.
And Samantha, this has been so fun. I'm
Yeah.
I'm super excited to be wrapping up and just like hear more about your vision. And I'm kind of a futuristic person. So I
Yeah.
love that we're like always present in the moment and I like to have an eye on the future. So do
Yeah.
you have a vision for your business for the next like 5 years?
I do. Yeah. Right now I'm in a treatment room and I want to kind of grow out of this room and kind of get like an actual retail space and like a downtown area where I can have like like client appreciation events,
Mm,
mom's nights or even like mom and daughter events. Like I want to be able to have that kind of space to be able to hold that for them. Like Mother's Day's coming up. I'm like, oh, I would love to do like a mommy and me thing in like the month of May. So, and just I love having that like connection with small businesses. So I feel like that's kind of where I need to be.
yeah, I love that. I love that. That's
Yeah.
so good. And right, promoting other businesses that are, have this space and bringing your skincare line and do
Mhm.
fun events. Like
Yeah.
that's a beautiful vision. I'm here for
So
that. That sounds
excited.
amazing. I love that. Well, we're going to wrap up. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast, Samantha. It's been amazing to get to hear your journey and the moments that have helped you along your path. Is there anything that you would like to leave the viewers with as a closing statement?
I mean, just thank you so much for being here. And I just want to, if there's anybody listening that's really struggling with their skin, just know like there are people out there that can help you. So,
Yeah, that's awesome, right? Ask for what you need.
yeah.
And that's how we find the solutions to what we need is asking. So
Mhm.
take the courage and bring it with you. Ask your questions. We look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for tuning in. Do all things with
Thank you.
purpose. Have a great day.